So, welcome everybody. We are in the microservice lectures. It's a joint course with Douala and University of Kassel, and it's our second real lecture. Yeah. So very nice welcome, and we will today just continue what we have first started last week. And we were actually implementing the shop and warehouse example. Before we actually go into that, are some feedback to the exercises. I got the impression that most of the go along with this very good, and I've seen a lot of very well done solutions, and people were saying it's not too hard, you can actually do it. I did reorganize the Discord a little bit to come up with all the steps that you need to prepare, and I was again astonished how long this list is. You need a Zoom account, you need Discord, you need GitHub, you need whatever, Visual Studio Code and all these kinds of stuff. And so I'm pretty happy that everybody is going along with this. So cool. We still have some problems with the internet connections to the University of Douala. I hope that the Douala people will manage to improve on that, and that we can somehow find a way to communicate at a certain time of the day or something. There were some requests I forgot about to talk last week from the University of Douala whether we could move the lecture to another time. So Douala, you have another lecture in conflict with this one? Put it in the chat, please. So anybody from Douala has a conflict that there's another course in parallel to this one here, or is everything fine? So Frank seems to answer to this, but okay. We will have a discussion on this with Discord. So I'm pretty happy that many people from Douala were able to demonstrate their solution to us, and for some people, we have had some problems with the internet connection. I was looking at the GitHub repository that's working too, but actually I don't like it very much because it's extra work. And it's much easier to do screen sharing with you guys, and then you can actually explain what you are doing, and we can actually ask for details and these kinds of stuff. And so we should be able to find some time with each of you to have a Discord session with screen sharing where we can demonstrate your solutions to us. I'm pretty happy if you are a little bit late with this. So the most easy thing is when you do this on Thursdays in 1600, when we are all there, and then there are all my teaching assistants, and we can have a lot of people doing this. But it's also okay if it takes some more time. So I still accept when you present the solution of the first homework today, or even on Thursday, it's fine for me. That's not a problem. The point is that today we will actually restructure the code from the last week. And so the next homework will be show the improved solution. And so if you do not catch up with these homeworks, then at some point in time you will lose contact, and it will be hard to follow the course any longer. So do not do it on the long run. Try to catch up with the course. So today, what we were doing is this shop and warehouse example. I have opened this a little bit, and let me see. There was this first simple event in the event storming, which says some user has registered and did log into the warehouse. And then there's, yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. Thank you for the advice. So this is the event storming thing we have had, and this is the point where we have some things that will be happening in our shop and warehouse system. And the very first thing we wanted to address was that the Bob warehouse is actually adding a palette of red shoes, or is ordering a palette of red shoes. Then these shoes will be delivered, and then we have it in our warehouse, and then we can put it into the shop. And so the very first thing is, in order to enable Bob to, well, actually add the product or to add the order for the red shoes, Bob needs to register to our warehouse. And so there is a scenario here that actually shows this. So this is Bob, the guy who's doing this. And at 1301, he visits web warehouse, or was the enterprise, warehouse.com, and the enter page, and he enters his emails, presses OK. And then there is this action down here where Bob is actually looking up if his email is already registered, because it is not yet. So if you do a get from users, we do not find it. We go to register and change the page. Then there's this register page where Bob adds his name and the secret password, presses OK again, and we double check that he did not change the email address, and then we will have a have user. This is not yet done. That is to be done the next time. And then we go to the main page. And so we will try to achieve this today. And there's some things that we need to change in order to get this done. This is the code. Can you read that? That's fine for you? Is this code size okay? For everybody? Code size okay? Cool. I just switch my Zoom thing here because I would like to see your gallery mode. Yeah, I love it. Okay. So it's not running yet right now. So I started with npm start just to see where we have been. Well, this takes a moment, and then there should be a new screen here. Come on. Yeah, and this one is very small, so yeah. And let's put that one to the left and that one to the right, perhaps a little bit like this. Okay, so here I can add Bob, press OK, put a name in here, Bob, put a password in here, and press OK, and nothing is happening. So this is what we have achieved last week. And we are actually going on to do this, and we need to, well, do some restructuring. So last week, Sebastian was actually mad at me because so Sebastian is my PhD student, and he is much more into programming TypeScript than I am. And he said, no, React is not a good idea, and you should use Angular. And I said, no, Angular is too complicated. Let's have the simple one. And then he said, Albert, you cannot do that. You have this render operation here, which actually creates the current page. And then you have this if statement here. That's not good. And you have a lot of operations in here. That's not good either. So currently our app.tsx is crowded with functionality, and we need to split it up a little bit. And we need to do a lot of restructuring today. to come up to a better solution. And so that is what we are going to do. Well, actually, before we start doing this, I would like to introduce some more test automation. So all the time I restart this thing here, I have to enter this email again, press this button, enter name, enter password, again and again. So any change I do, I will rerun the test, and I have to enter manual things. That is not good. So what we want is an automated, fully automated end-to-end test that is actually doing this user input for me. I do not want to do it manually. It should run automatically. So this is an idea stemming from software engineering. And the approach is called, we would like to do test-driven design or test-driven development. The idea is that I have a test and that I just have a scenario that my test is going to run through, and it should be done fully automatically so that I can rerun it as often as I want to. And we will have such an end-to-end test. And for that, we will use Cypress. Cypress. Sorry. Cypress. Cypress is one of the many things that you can use with. There are many others, and this is just the one I stumbled on when I did this. This is the website for it, and here it says what you have to do is npm install Cypress. So let's do that. Therefore, I need another terminal, a new terminal in the web warehouse thing here, and I would do npm install Cypress. However, my little image, damn it, okay. I would like to put it up to the upper corner. There it wouldn't be in the way. I'm not sure whether I managed to do that. Let me try it. Hey. Did that work? Oh, great. Okay, so I can have it and you can see me and we can go on. So last time when we were installing jQuery, npm had some kind of problem, and therefore we will use Yarn today. Yarn is just another, just a clone, or it's an alternative to npm. npm is the node package manager, which is used to download libraries that we would like to use in our project. And npm is very old. In the early days, it was pretty slow. And then other people were implementing Yarn, yet another, whatever this stands for. And it's pretty compatible to NPM. However, these two tools, they use some logging, which packets have already been downloaded and which have not been downloaded. And if you use them in one time NPM and one time Yarn, and then again NPM and then again Yarn, that's not a good idea. Then they will try to fight each other. So when we did install this thing here, initially with npx create React app, that thing was actually assuming that everything is done with Yarn and did some of these steps with Yarn. And so we should not go away from Yarn, but stick with Yarn. I do it with Yarn now. And so the Yarn befehl for npm install is yarn add. And then we say Cypress. And actually we could say I only want it in the dev mode. I'm not sure. Let's do it. So when I was preparing this lecture on Saturday, I was at home, but I have a pretty decent internet connection. Downloading Cypress took me about 6 minutes. So this thing is downloading a hell of things, a lot of things. And so this time it was pretty fast because I have already run it on Saturday. And so it's all the things that you should download, it just sees, oh, it's already there, I don't do it, I skip it. So it was very fast for me. Please prepare. If you do this, it will take some 6 to 10 minutes to half an hour. It is awful lot of things that you download from that. Okay, so now we have downloaded it. There's a question. Stick with NPM, someone says. Okay, fine for me. So Jan was working now, so I'm it's pretty all the same. Setup tests, installing Cypress. So we did this command npm install Cypress. We could have done -- save death, which actually says do it only for development. Let's do that. So why not? This will take some time. Meanwhile, what is the next step? Yarn at Cypress dev would have been the right command. Okay, I'm fine with that. You can do it as often you want. So, opening Cypress. What you should do is call Cypress open, or you can use npx, you can use yarn run Cypress open. This is a little bit tricky. Just stick to this Cypress page, which is actually explaining it very well. So this takes, again, some time. Okay, did it work? Yeah, here it comes. So this will actually open a new browser that is then run by Cypress. So this is the browser that comes with Cypress. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is coming with it. And it is actually, well, Cypress has a bot which is able to, well, type in this browser and actually to work with this. It comes with a bunch of examples. That's okay too. But we actually need to now have our own example. So what we now do, so this is the testing environment. And we will now do our first end-to-end test. And therefore, we go for the description. Come on, installing. Continue opening. We did that. Switch browsers. Adding a script. Yeah, we'll do that later. Okay. It's actually on the other page. Let's have this a little bit good. Writing your first test. Create sample spec JSON file. And you need to do that in a certain thing in Cypress integration. Let's have a look. It has created a new folder in our project, the Cypress folder, and there is all the stuff that Cypress needs. There is an integration examples folder having a lot of example tests that you could run that are working in general. We will copy and paste from these tests a little bit later on. So what we now need to do is, this is running, we need just another terminal. We go into the Cypress thing. Yeah. We go into the installation thing. It's actually, sorry. Integration? Is it integration? Yeah, it's integration. Let's go into integration. And then there we would like to have a file. Okay, let's have, I just create the file with touch because I was not able to do it here. If I do new file, oh yeah, it's great. We can do it here. Click on integration, right click on integration, say new file, and we do something like warehouse spec minus spec is something that you usually do, and TS, that is how they spell it. Minus? I'm not sure. They have an underscore. It's all fine. Okay. Let's go there and there. Put this one a little bit bigger again. Here we are. We do not need to do that here. Okay. So warehouse spec, yes, here we are. And then we are, let's see what we should do in that. Right, your first test. This has a pretty special syntax or language to be used to write your test. It starts with calling the function describe. And then you give the title of your test. And this is done with usual quotes. Yeah. And let's name it Bob orders red shoes. Something like that. So this is a scenario that we would like to automate and that we would run. And then here comes a function. Now let's just copy this thing here and put it in here. Does not much. Okay, why not? Yeah. There's one curly bracket missing. This one goes here. This one is clothing here. Let's put it this way. Okay. So the describe function has two arguments. The first is the title of the test that we would like to run. And then there's another function that is going to be called. This function has a lot of code. The first thing that you do is you call another function, which is the it function. It gets some text and yet again another function as a parameter where you can test something. And I have no idea why the 2 is not working. 2 is not existing. I have no idea. Let's just try whether it works or not. So actually, this browser that Cypress has been starting, could I put this a little bit bigger? No. Doesn't grow. Sorry for that. I can click on this. We have just added this file here with this description. I put this, start this. Yet another browser starts, where now this test is going to be executed. The test is loading, and then he said, oh no, there is no test. Okay, we have some problem with this here. And I'm not sure what the problem is. And let's put this again here. Make this a little bit smaller. So it does not compile because of this 2. I'm not sure. We would have to import something. Let's have a look at the documentation. No. expect 2 to equal something should work after all. So it was not a good idea just to copy this code together. Let's do this by hand. So we would like to have another function. And it starts with curly brackets. So here we would like to call it. It has 2 parameters. First, empty step. And that one gets another function as a parameter. So this is a kind of lambda thing here, if you are familiar with this Java concept. And this one, well, let's have a console.log thing. No, that's not good. Expect, hey, then some value, 2. Yeah, I had that one too, and it didn't work. Oh. So and the problem here is there are types missing. And because this is TypeScript, it doesn't work as desired. So I'm wondering, yeah. Does anybody know what's missing? Please help me. It has to be a JS file, then it works. Okay, thank you. So the guy says, rename this thing into JS instead of TS. And then it should work. Okay, let's see. There is this Cypress thing here. And we open the spec.js. No test found. It's not yet done. Okay, 2 dot. No, it's just 2. And it was B something. Now I need to find the. Yeah, I was trying that yesterday and it didn't work. But yeah, let's try it. To be true. Okay. And then we go for this one here and try to rerun it. And then it said, no, you cannot write this thing here. Invalid child property to be. Did you mean 2? Yeah, I meant 2. And there's something with the conclusion not working. To be is not to equal. The thing here is it should be 2 equal. Hey, now it works. It says the scenario but orders that choose first empty step is working. Very cool. So let's have a real step. What we do is Bob visits the enter page and adds his email. This just changes the text here. So now it describes what's going on, and now we actually will do that. And there is a special variable which is predefined, which is sci. And my completion does not yet work. I probably need to install. I'm sorry. Let me just check. So this is now picture in picture again. You don't see what I'm coding. Hey, here we are. Thank you. So Cy dot visit is the command, and then I give the email, the address of the website I want to visit. And that one is this one. So it's HTTP localhost 3000. It. We implement that and we have a look at the browser. This one. Your tests are loading. Your tests are loading. Hey, do you see it? It's there. Believe me, it's really there. But it's too slow, too small. So we actually need to, well, increase the size. You can actually do something like that, but it won't help here. It says it has 1000 by 660, which is not what we would like to have. And what we need to do is to find Cypress config.js. Cypress JSON. There's a file, Cypress JSON, that has been created, and that one is empty. And there we would like to have something like vertical. No. We have to look. There's demonstration for that. There's documentation for that. No. We need these later, and we have to again Google for that. Cypress screen size. Base URL, port, reporter, retries. I have had better than these. Folders, no. Viewport, Cypress IO, kitchen sink. No. So does anybody know how to set the screen size? So please Google that, and who's first? I will be how to get Cypress window size. Now how to set. Here. Side viewport width height. Okay, let's do that one. It's fine too. You could have done it in config, but I'm fine with doing it in the warehouse spec. I put that here and say sci.viewport. Where was it? Sci.viewport. And I have a good experience with 300, 400. So if we put that here and then we go for here, the test is already running. Anytime I do a change to the test file and store it, the test is re-executed automatically. And here we get our email, our website, the one that we have been executing. Here it shows which parts of the test have already been executed. And here it shows the current state of our browser. So what we would like to do now is to enter something into this email here. So this is done by pure Cypress. Please, would you get me an element which is in my page here? And I would like to get hashtag email input. I know this because I have tried this yesterday. And actually what we would like to do is we go for, go away. This is our page. And this is the first page that we have, the enter page. That is the one that is showing here. And there is this input here, and it has an ID. Can you see that? How do I enlarge this? Okay. So this email input is the element of the web page we are showing that we are looking for. And so we say our email input here. And if you search for an element by ID, you need to add this hashtag in front of the name. And then this will actually retrieve this thing here to you. And we will store that into something like a constant email input field becomes sci.get. Yeah. JSON config viewport hide is the other alternative in the chat. That should have, could have done that too. Cool. Okay, localhost 3000, it works. Find that email input. And now in the email input, there's a command called type, hopefully. And there we do bob@w.com. That's fine for me. www.com was warehouse. Okay. If you do that, the test is reloaded, it's executed again, and there is bob@www.com. Hey, I love it. Cool, that works. Great. Bob visits the enter page. And so this is actually the first step of our scenario now works. Let's have another step. Should we press OK in here? Yeah, I think we should do that. So let's have a sci. If you look for something, I think sci.get should do the job. But actually, the example I have is sci contains. And then we look for this OK button here just by text, not by an ID. The reason is that currently our button on click does not have an ID. We could also give it an ID, but just to show you alternative things that you can use, I would like to have this done. And then we would like to do a click. Let's try it. Hey, seems to work. So it's now in the OK step. So did you see that? Let's have a rerun. Cool. Okay, and here it already says bob@www.com. Cool. So our scenario is working. Let's have another step. And then we will start to reorganize our code. So we have another one where we just continue our testing. So this is one test having multiple steps, and the syntax is stems from Cucumber. They love it in this way. It's a little bit weird, but it's fine for me. So describe this scenario. It does something like that. It executes, Bob adds his credential, and this is done by, we are looking for the name field here. And so I go for this one here. This is the name field, and it has not yet have an ID. So it's better to look it up via using an ID. So let's give it an ID. And here we use double quotes because this is HTML. We could use single quotes too, but Sebastian hates me if I do that. And this is the name input. So, and here we go for get the name input, and it should be a name input, and that should be a rename, which is F2. And it is name input, and it renamed this and this occurrences at the same point if you use F2. And the name that we would like to add is Bob Warehouse. And then we do not yet go for didn't work, did it? We would still have to add the password. So we go for the password field, which also does not have an ID yet. So we add an ID here in order to make it easy to find it. Actually, using these IDs is generally a good idea because jQuery is also able to find it this way. And we would have used it anyhow. So this is the password input. Okay. And okay, this one now restarts because the source code has changed. And then we go for the warehouse spec and say, come on, sorry. Const password input becomes sci.get hashtag password input. I'm sorry for the hovering something. And on password input, we type secret, of course. That's no good. Having a password is part of your code. It's a security breach. Come on. We will do it for now. Then we look for the OK button. Yeah, it looks fine for me. So Bob visits the enter page. Bob adds the credentials. Everything is working fine. However, this is 1000 again. Okay. So it somehow has lost its viewport information. So it's probably not a good idea to have it this way, but we should have this thing there say it's viewport height colon 400 would be great. And it's viewport, it's actually viewport width. I'm not sure whether this double quotes are necessary, but it seems to be. And that shall be 300. Okay, and it was killing my Cypress page. So let's just restart this thing here. So now it says 3 by 400. The first time loading this thing needs a little bit longer. Here we go. Cannot show snapshot while tests. Do not, yeah, it's fine for me. Okay, here it says Bob, secret something, Hey, that works. Great. So we can now rerun our scenario all the time. So we will actually do some restructuring on the code now, and then we can always check whether the thing is still working. And I strongly recommend you to use Cypress for your development work and to mimic my approach to this thing. I think it's pretty important to do that. And it's actually software engineering style that we really recommend, and which is, by the way, saying if you do not do it, you will not get points. So it's mandatory. You really have to do it. So what's wrong with? So we are now ready to change our application to come up with a better implementation of this whole thing. One thing is we use as names for pages just usual names. It's international standard that you use something like a URL here. So please add a slash to your pages. This is has strong historical reasons. So these people that are programming a single web page says, oh, the sub-pages should have their own URL. So localhost 3000/enter should directly bring me to this enter page. And /register should bring me to another page. And /main should bring me to yet another page. It's an international convention. I'm happy with that. Let's do that. So then in the thing here, you should also use a /enter here for this thing. Okay, the next point is that we have multiple pages in here within one file. That's no good idea. It's not a good idea. So we will now introduce the concept of subcomponents. We'll have a subcomponent. So we will actually split, we have one component per page. And in order to introduce this, we will actually have a new folder. You close. Within our source folder, we will add a new folder, and we call it, well, user pages. Because so we are in the web warehouse, and there's a group of pages that deal with registration and login, and we put all these pages into the user pages order. And then we said, okay, like the app tsx file, we would like to have another one which is a React component just for the enter page. So I go for user pages, say I would like to have a new file, call it the enter page or only enter, tsx because we will have a React component in there, and go for it. And then we will have an export default class enter. That is the thing that we would like to export. Oh, and there's a typo. Yeah. And we would like it to extend React. Can you read that? Come on. I'll put my picture down here. I need a button on my desk here in order to do that. I'll ask Christoph to add such a button. So it's this way, React, our component. And then it says, I don't have a React. Yeah, so please import it. Import. Yeah, I love it. Okay. Such a React component needs to have a render operation, a render function. That's, yeah, okay, fine. And this one has to return something. Return something, which I now put into these braces here, and have a new line. So the thing that I would like to return, I'll grab from the old TSX, and I take this whole div thing here, rip it out, put it into enter text, put it in here. Then I do something like Alt-Shift format, so it's all intended nice. It says I do not have a button action. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So how do we get rid of that? Is that working? No. Okay. Just get rid of it for the moment. Okay. So, and what would we have here instead? This is now a component with this name here. We can actually have something like enter here. And then he says, oh, I don't have it. Cannot find enter. Import. Hey, it has created an import, user pages enter. That is the component we have just created. And if you go into that one, it renders the page that we have had, and then it should do the job. Let's try it. Yeah, pretty good. Actually, it did work. How did it work? I have no idea. It doesn't have a button yet. So probably didn't restart really. Or that's astonishing. I have no idea why this is working. Actually, I was thinking that this operation here, this is the action that gets the email input data and goes here. This one should go to the new enter page. This is the enter button action that belongs to our enter page. So I cut it and put it here. And then it says, oh, damn. Alt-Shift format. So it's indented right. And then it says, oh, no, you cannot have it. So this is the old email enter button action. And it says, oh, you have an email input. And this get from users, this does not work by now. We will have to help him on that. Button press is this output here, and then it goes for some other pages. Okay, it's not too bad, but we need some more work here. So the get from users operation is this one here. Actually, we could now move this get from users into the enter component too. We have an app component that uses an enter component. But actually, this get from users is working on this one here. And well, I would prefer to have this in something like an extra file. So it's actually working on the state information here. And so I would like to, well, add the get from users thing to this app state thing. Can you add a function to an interface? I'm not sure. So I didn't try that at home. You can do that. So I'm now going to transfer this app state into its own component, its own file, and make it a real class and put it into the model. So just get rid of it here and create a new file in model, call it appstate.ts for TypeScript. And let's have, instead of an interface, export default class app state. It shall have users. I love it. Import users. Cool. And then it says, oh, it's not initialized, or it's very picky on that all fields of a class should be initialized. So let's do that. Great. And yeah, that's a field. I would do a colon here. I'm not sure about that. And then this current page here is a string, and it needs to be initialized. And let's do it with an empty string. Fine for me. So we have turned the app state interface into a real class and put it into our model. And the reason for that is we would like to add the get from users thing here. But first, let's repair our stuff, because now it doesn't have an app state anymore. Import default app state, here it is. And then it says this dot state becomes users and current page. We could do that, but actually then this creates a new object. You can assign this to the state, which requires an app state, because TypeScript does something which is called duck typing. If you have all the required fields, you are compatible with the desired type. Who knows the concept of duck typing? Duck is a quack, 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 a bird, a special one. And it's saying that, oh, they were asking a hunter, there's a bird flying, how do you know it's a duck that you can shoot at? And then he said, oh, it quacks like a duck, it flies like a duck, it is a duck, I shoot it. It's good enough for me. And this is a concept of TypeScript that, well, in Java, you actually need to, well, physically refer to the type of that variable, and the object must have a same type or subtype. And in TypeScript, it's enough if it's a compatible type, if the new type has all the required fields. That's it. So still, if you do this, it doesn't work because it will not have the get from action that we would like to have. And therefore, I get rid of that one and say this dot state dot current page becomes slash enter. So my constructor, initializes the current page variable, and then a state is used before being assigned. Oh, yeah. We do not have an initialization of this thing here. Should we do it here? New. So we need to create the object, of course. And I think I would like to have braces here. Okay. Now he says the enter button action does not exist. Yeah, that's true. So this was this things that you need to declare this variable in the constructor of this thing. We have moved the enter button action to the enter page. It's now here. So what we need here is a constructor. And there we enter this thing. This dot enter button action becomes, and then he says, no, 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 their constructor needs a parameter. And you need to call super with this parameter. And the parameter needs a type. We will change this later on just to fix all the things here. So that works again. Still this get from users. We are not yet done. We have changed the app state into its own class. We do it, initialize it, we create it, we set the current page. The users is still the empty list. That's fine for me. And now we move this get from users to enter. No, to app state, of course. It becomes an operation in here. And then it says, I cannot access this.state.users. That's true. If I'm a function in app state, I can actually access this.users directly. That works great. So we have moved the get from users functionality to that thing here. This one is pretty happy. Is it? Yeah. But the enter TSX still has a problem here. Well, we need to access the state that has been passed as a parameter. Well, come on. This state here needs to be passed to this one here. So what we do is we give this a parameter, and we do that in this way. Becomes this dot state. And then he says, no, we cannot do that because I have no idea. Okay, all right, it needs to be declared at the end. So I don't need that anymore. Within enter TSX, we have said this is a props thing here, and that doesn't work. We actually need to have some types to make it more explicit. So this is the enter props thing here. And we would like to have it app state. And that one is from to app state. So it has now imported this model app state, put it in here, have it here as a parameter, and here we do say it's enter props. So our props parameter is this one here. And for some reason, I think that should work now. So does anybody see the problem? Some student waiting in the door. Did somebody let them in? Max is a co-host. Max. Okay, great. I think that should work by now. Sometimes you actually need to restart this thing. Therefore, I need to go for the terminal. And just does an npm start again. No, enter app state does not work. So what is the problem here? Okay, I'll have to look at my predefined solutions. So why don't you have it? Add folder to workspace, and then I go for IDEA project. I have a predef. No, not this one. Yeah, that one. That one. So this is where I prepared this some weeks ago. And there is a source, and there is the app TSX. This.state.username. Okay. What we need to do now is Yeah. Dot. No, I want it all. That still doesn't work. App state string. Intrinsic attribute. There's something wrong. And I think the problem is in enter TSX. It's enter props. It's enter So what is the problem here? Okay. I already have it. Oh, that's it. Okay. The component from React has generic parameters. You can actually two of those, and I use only the first of these. And I say, okay, I would like to have enter props as the type of my properties. And then to get everything compatible, you need enter props here again. This is now matches that one here, and that should do the job. Okay. And now the problem is in the enter button action. I love that. And I can say it's this dot props. It has an app state, and that has a get from users. I love it. Hey, that compiles. Here's our page. Okay, let's have a look at our Cypress thing here. That one's still working. Here. Yeah, almost. It doesn't find the name input, but come on. So actually, yeah, the problem is the OK button did not do its job. And did it show something why? No. Did it? The on-click is missing. I love the chat. Thank you. Yeah, fine. That's true. That's the problem. So make this a small one again. Oops. Oops. There. Connect to dashboard. No. Our tests, here we are. Okay. Yeah, the click on action is missing. That's true. The on click is missing. Equals this dot enter button action. Put this one in here. It actually should. It will probably still not work, but let's give it a try. So it was able to do something, then there comes something like a reference error or something like that. The point is that the set state operation that we use here has a problem with these things here. And the point is, and now there's a complex thing here. Well, let's have it on camera 3. Yeah, I love it. So in our logic, we have the app component, and there is this enter component. Can you see that? Okay, which is somehow used or below the app component. Okay, and the app has this state and props too. This one has a state too. Part of the state is our current page. And actually, we would like to change this page up here. And what we currently do, we state the state which is down here. And that is that's not working. Okay, here we are. So what we should do is something like this dot props dot app state dot current page becomes /login. You would like to rename that. So that is actually the most simple thing that we would like to do now. And here comes a problem. If we change the current page of our app state, what we would like to happen is that the render function is going to be called again, and that another page, and that we go for the register page or for the page which is not yet implemented. So if we change the current page, we need to trigger that the render operation is called again. And to achieve this, React has a special mechanism, which is this predefined set state operation that you inherit from React component. This set state operation does some assignments of properties of the current state, and as a side effect, then calls the render function of the corresponding operation. It does some more voodoo things in order to actually identify which part of the render functions need to be redone. But in general, for us, it's currently okay if we say, if you call the set state operation on a certain state, then what is achieved is that the render function is called as a side effect. And if I go to my thing here, what I really need to do is to call set state here and then set the current page as a and as a side effect, this will call the render function again on our top component. Okay. So, however, I am in this enter thing here. How shall I call on that app thing this set step operation? I would actually need to pass the full component down here in order to get that. And the cool thing is, please, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, the cool thing is, so how do I actually call this set state function on the upper component? I can either pass the upper component as a parameter, but which never did occur to me, or I just pass the function as a parameter. So let's do that. Enter. App state is the full state. Yeah. And as a second thing, let's have the app setup function. Is U in uppercase? Sorry, just check it. Set state. It's not at set up, but set state function are as a parameter. This dot set state. So set state is the function. If I do not have races in it, I do not call it, but I pass the function itself as an object into this variable here. And if you pass a function as a parameter, do never forget to bind this. Otherwise it won't work. So this dot set state, it's still recall this function is inherited from React.component, so it's predefined, but we need to bind it to this dot set state dot bind this. This is some TypeScript voodoo. I never understood why they require that from you. It has good compiler construction reasons. Just do it. Okay. So having two fields within this enter call is actually requiring us to have two properties in this thing here. So we should have, it's the interface, the app set state field here. And I would love to have a good type for that here, but I was not able to figure that out. And therefore I just use any. Any says, I don't know the type. It's object in Java or something. And you can have a function in that one. App set state. So it should be happy with this assignment here now. The function has been bind to this, and so we can use it in here. And so what we do is this dot props dot app set state. And the parameter is the same thing that we have before. And we do a login here. And we do the same thing here. And let's have a slash here. I think it's pretty fine now. And here we should have a slash here. And now it should work. Ooh. So it should be here. Keep your fingers crossed. No, won't work. String is not assignable to app TSX 2711. App 27. I don't do that. You're right. Thank you. Still keep your fingers crossed. Yeah. So the comment was that I need jQuery now in the enter component. Okay. Then it works. What? Did you see that? It actually worked. We were able to enter our stuff and it went here. So the email does not yet have been preset. Who's doing that? It should be in app.tsx, and I have no idea who usually is doing this. Okay, something weird is going on. Still, we have a restructured component work by now. So we have actually finally done two things. We have refactored our app state into its own class, which has become part of our logical model. Come on, there's this app state now, which has the logic operations attached to it. So this get from users, we will have a have user operation, which is actually creating a new user and adding it to the user thing, also in this class here. So we have the logical model in the app state thing here. And so where's the warehouse? Enter. I do know I have an enter. User pages. And we have the enter page, which is actually something like the model view controller pattern. So the enter page gets the app state, the model as a parameter. Itself is something like a controller and having all the actions which are attached to our thing. And the render function actually is providing the view. And using this setup operation, the set state operation, the render function is called automatically, which means that if you have a change in your logical model, then the controller, the component, is actually updating your view automatically. So we have model view controller. So who knows the model view controller design pattern? So Eric doesn't know it. So it's not a problem. This was just a reference for the people who has already taken some lectures in design patterns so that you can connect these things. So this is a model view controller is a pretty standard thing that you do if you have a graphical user interface. And so actually React has pretty much the same ideas, but if you would have done this whole thing with Angular, then you would actually have three different files, one for the model, one for the controller, and one for the view. React is mixing these things a little bit because the React component is actually controller and view in one file. So that's the thing. So this is the view part. This somehow is controller part. And within here, there's the model. And we will have this a lot in the next time. So the next thing what we need to do is, have a register component. Therefore, we go for, let's really do it by hand. Copy paste doesn't work for me. So let's have a register component, which is a component, so it's a TSX. Export default class register extend. Can you see that? Yeah. Extends React component. And there will be register props showing up soon. And we will have a render function. Okay, which returns something. Okay, first the React. Import React, great. Register props. Great. We will have an interface. For register props. And this interface will have an app state of type app state and a app set state function whose type we do not know. Great. Register props. Render. We will need a constructor. Sorry. We will need a constructor. This constructor needs props. This is a naming convention after all. It's always called props short for properties. And that one will be a register props thing. And we will have a call to super. And pass on the props. Okay, fine. Pretty nice component so far. And then we take all this stuff, put it to the register page. Great. Okay, there's pretty little operations so far, so that's great. And here we call register, yeah. And I would actually to parse just the same parameters. Here we are. Yeah, it might work. Yeah, looks good to me. Fine. Okay. So what we have done is we have, well, created new components for the register page and for the enter page. Okay, and we will go on with this habit to have one component per page. We will even have complex pages which have subcomponents. And the reason for this is, well, software engineering is all about controlling complexity or, well, dealing with complexity. And one thing that software engineering has learned is that if you have a single class which has a lot of functions in it and a lot of components in it and a lot of parts in it, this one will become a problem for later development. And so the rule of thumb is make your classes small or your components small and have very small responsibilities for each of your components. And split it up into multiple parts is usually a very good idea. And we did not do this on the first run because there's so much voodoo going on in React when passing forward this state and this set state function that I wanted to come up with a working example first and then do this restructuring afterwards in order to explain to you how this passing of parameters is going to work. This is the moment where I should tell you that the way I am doing this here is still not the standard way. So the first thing is usually you do not pass the full state down to your subcomponents, but you only pass certain variables down to your subcomponents. And if you only pass example given the current page down, then you would probably also only have a function that changes the current page passed down and not the the full set state operation. So this is pretty unconventional way to do this. When I was and I recommend that you go to the usual default React tutorial and work through that one. And there you will see the way how this is handled by the rest of the world. And then you come back to my solution, and then you decide what you like more. For example, my solution. And then you can do in your homework whatever you like. But actually, when I was going through the default tutorial and I said, oh, whoa, that's so complicated and oh my God, and I don't like it. And I came up with this solution because it's so easy. So now all our pages get just the same parameters. It's all the time the same thing that you parse, and it's very easy and it's like a cooking book. It's a very easy, simple recipe that you can actually follow and go through. I still do not like that our app state here is still a little bit a bottleneck, because our model will actually become pretty large, and I'm not sure whether I will be able to reduce to keep it in a reasonable size to avoid it to become too complex. And we will see what's the problem here. So actually, by now, we probably have almost reached the same state than last week, but just restructured it. And we used the model view controller a little bit in a better way. Let's do some more steps. Although my time is over already, I will need some other 10 minutes to go for new functionality so that we can go on with the homework and that we can go on with other stuff. So the very first thing is that this email field here does not have content yet. I do not know why it was working in the old version. It's no longer working now. And it's probably some of this React magic that does the minimal adaptation of the DOM tree. And actually it was reusing the old input field, and that does not work any longer. I'm not sure about that. So let's do something about it. And actually the email is first entered here. Thank you for your help. The email is entered here into this field, and the enter button action is the very first who knows about what has been entered to the enter page. And so the enter button action is down here. So it knows our email now, but we need it here in order to go on to the register page or register component. And we would like to send this one the email. But what we are sending here is the state, the app state. So the idea is to make email a part of the app state. And therefore we go for app state and extend this type by current email, which should be a string, and it needs to be initialized so that it cannot be null. So current email, great. And then in the enter page, in this button action, here we go for register. We say current email, which he does not yet know why. App state. You should have recompiled that and should know that we have a current email. That's bad. Enter. Yeah, no, it's, of course. Come on. This is because app state does not have a type over here. It is any, and then he does not know what the parameter is supposed to be, and we need to type this by hand. And that one becomes email, the email address that we have. It's a comma here. So this actually constructs a new object with two fields set, and the app set state will loop through the properties of this object and do the initialization of the fields of app state that have the same name. So it finally will update current page and current email. And this is the email value that we have had that should do the job. Let's run it. So how do we know whether this has worked? Yeah. Do you want me to debug this now? It would actually cost us another 5-6 minutes. I'll show you that one next week. We'll try to assume that this has worked. And then we go for the register page. And then therefore, here's the email input. And here we say, yeah, we can actually have our default value. And this one is this dot state, no, props. So this is register here, props dot app state dot current email. Love it. Okay, give it a try. Here it is. Cool. I'm happy with that. Okay, here's Bob Warehouse, and there is that thing. Register page. So the register page does not yet have this on-click operation. So let's have an on-click thing. On-click equals this dot. Okay. Action is fine for me. So we do not need a fancy name here because we have only one action. So it's obvious which one we want. It's an OK action. I think this one needs a parameter. I'm not sure. No. It's an OK action. And here we can do things. So let's copy this from here. We need the jQuery thing in our register thing. Okay. And then we can actually look up, for example, the email. Great. Suppose we have email input here. Yeah, we have it. Great. So let's look up the other two things. What we also get is the name. If we go for the name input, check. Come on. And we get the plain password if we go for password input. Come on. Okay. Should we just send it out, or are we happy with doing things? Let's do a little bit more. Oh no, let's do console. log. I use these back quotes. So I have multiple things. So this is a string template. And our register. So it's a dollar, curly braces, this, no myth, email, name, plain password. Okay. So rerun. So if you change the application itself, the Cypress won't recognize. And I promise you that when we were pressing this, it was actually doing this console thing, but we don't see the console. So I press F12. That gives me the console. And then I say, can actually put it better. And here it says register, bob.ww.com, Bob warehouse, and the password is secret. Hey, we got all the information. It's working. I love it. So what we need now is to store all these things within a user. And therefore, we will actually call an operation on this dot props dot app state dot, and we call that one have user. So this is the root of our model. We will have a have user operation. And again, this is pretty unconventional. And I will discuss this pretty much next week, but let's have it now in order to get the best, the important thing. And just have email, name, and password hash. So you never store passwords in direct, in full text visible. That is easily to read later on. So please, you need to encrypt your password. Otherwise, someone will come after you, or the hackers will come after you. So what we need is a password hash thing. And yeah, it's coming from plain password, but we will need actually to encrypt it. And in order to encrypt it, we will terminal actually install some more software. And what we will do is we will have a yarn at Cypress. No. Crypt. I have put it in the Discord, but my Discord is not running. Can anybody look up crypt? What did I put into that? So that it is a script.js like that. So the question in the things is what happened to MD5. Last week I was proposing to use MD5 for this, and Sebastian said, no way, MD5 has been cracked, or it has been hacked. It's no longer secure, you cannot use that. MD5 is broken, yeah, so we cannot use it anymore. And what you need is to SHA, SHA 256. This is slightly more secure these days. Actually, searching the web, Google was recommending me to use bcrypt or bcrypt. which is again something that actually uses something like SHA-56 too, and some extra tricks to make it a little bit more secure. I use SHA-256 by now. It should work for this course. If you do something more professional, then you look for more professional things. For this course, we just go with SHA-256. And I hope I can use that now. And actually, I need the types. And this will hopefully import. I think it's something like that. Nope. From crypt. Yeah, and then it says, no, you cannot do that. And probably it says something like, oh, declare module crypt. And usually it says something like, import clamor after type and something like that. Okay. We need to look it up in Discord. Wait, give me a second. So it's microservices, and I actually think I can show you that one, and it's microservices, and there should be discussions. There was something like installation summary, and this one says yarn art crypto and these types here. These types is something that adds type information to your thing. And that was the one I was looking for. And then I go for the PowerShell again. And then it says, no, it should not start with a okay, that one. I did not send it. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you for the help. So it's now installed. So it should now be able to find that one. Crypt.js or crypto? Crypt.js. I think that should work. And that, what does it say? It's crypto? Oh yeah, cool. And there's still, now it says it's not yet used. Yeah, fine. Go away. Have user is not yet existing, but here we would like to have char 256 opening brace yeah. Okay, we have to Google that. Crypto.js. Documentation, blah, 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 blah. And then HMAC, no. Sorry, I didn't understand you. Could you put it in the chat? It was just not loud enough. So here, that should work. Yeah, we should have looked it up with TypeScript together, but we are close. Import crypto from crypto, and then we can do that one. Okay, let's try this one. And let's try this one. Hey, cool. So this is just to, well, encrypt our password, because we would not like to, well, store our plain password anywhere. Okay, now this have user does not yet exist. And so let's create it. Declare method have user. Hey, now we have it. Where did he do it? It has become a part of this app state type. Okay, I love it. But I would like to have it down here. And it throws, I have not yet been implemented error. So let's implement it. So what I would do usually is I would first try again whether it's still there. If it's already existing, I have this get from users that gets an email and does the loop through all our users and looks it up whether it's already there or not. So if we do not yet have the user, we do user becomes a new user. Then we create one. Come on. Sometimes it's so smart. So what's the problem here? It's used as the value here. I want a new user. User or null. Come on. So, but that is not working. So what's the problem here? I have this type user here. I would like to create an instance. Probably user is just an interface. No? Oh yeah, it is. Let's turn this into a class and give it some initial things. And then this should be I'm sorry for taking so much overtime, but we are almost done. Come on, quotes. And we were in register. No, we were in have user. Yeah. User becomes new user. Great, that works now. And now we assign all the fields. Well, actually, user.email, we already know, becomes email. And now we are ready to add this user to this array here. This is done with user dot add push our user. Okay, and independent whether this is an old user or whether we have just created a new user, we may also use this to update name and password hash. So what we always do is user name becomes name, and this dot, come on, no. User dot password becomes password hash. Here we are. And he says, oh, password hash has no good type. It's a crypto.js lib word array. Are you crazy? I would like to have a string here. And then he will probably complain when we do call it. That's going big. So something that we should do is at the end we return the user. Okay. And we use this here. And now he says, oh, you cannot have it. Or it's another thing. We would like to convert this into a string. And we could say it's a string. And he says, no, we cannot do that. And then we do a dirty trick I always use in Java. And that one works. We just take an empty string and add this thing. This does a string concatenation, and this does a type conversion automatically, magically. Okay. That will do the job. And we need to test whether it's actually working. And therefore, in the Redis thing here, let's have the password hash here. And should we const user becomes, and then we add, come on, the user itself here. I would just like to see what's coming out of this. And then we go for our testing thing here. We run it. It has become pretty small and it does not work. So why not? It probably does not compile. A type error. So where? Did anybody spot the problem? It's probably in the OK operation. I fear I have too much overdue. I'll just leave this open to your homework. And I would just, you say it's not printing the user. Let's give this a try. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, no. It might be in here. Yeah, it's in there. So we actually have to debug into that. And that's something such a perfect learning opportunity to show you how to debug. And so we need another 4 minutes. I'm so sorry. You can actually see it on the video stream later on. If you need to leave now, I can accept that, but let's have it. So let's go for F12. That starts the debugger within your browser. And that one has become pretty small. And what we do is we go for sources. And then here it shows something, and it has a lot page, something like that. And I was not able to find actually my source on the page thing, but it also has file system. Then you open your folders with this plus here and go for your model and then for the app state, and you just load this thing here. And then in the have user thing, I put a breakpoint here by clicking on this number. If it has this blue something, then we actually have set a breakpoint. And then I run this stuff again. And if this is a good day for science, it should stop there, but it doesn't. So let's go for the user pages and the register thing, and then for the OK action. And let's do it again. Okay, here we are. And then we can actually, here we have resume script execution, which will actually continue running. Here we have step over, which is F10. And okay, we have executed this here. If you hover over it, it shows you the content of the variable. You can also have it, if you look on variables, here it says email has this thing here, name is still undefined. If I do another step, name has become Bob Warehouse, and you can also hover over it. Do another step, plain password, secret, great. Hash it. Hey. Ooh, that's a complete thing, a word array after all. Okay, that's probably the problem. So this thing here is not working. So we need to do something else here. Okay, I'm fine. I think I've spotted my problem. Go away. Continue. Go away. Go away. I do not want that anymore. Okay. I go back to my thing here, and the password hash, well, password hash should have something like a toString. Hey, that would help. So, get away with this one. Sorry. Let's give it a try. Here we go. And again, didn't work. Okay. So we are still here. Remove breakpoint. Continue. That one did work. And that one, now we do a step into the function call. Yeah, that was already an uncaught exception. No, this toString does not work. Damn it. Have user is not a function. It pretty much looks like a function to me. It returns something. get from users. Okay, where's the problem? Have user or users? Have user. Email, name, password to string. Let's try to get rid of this password thing here. Whether it's password or just to say it's in that one. Just to be sure. Register TSX. Const user. Have user. TypeScript error. Expected 2 arg but got 3. This is a problem with updating. So view. Show me the terminal. Go for node 1. Yeah. Useless constructor. It's so React is working all the time, and it seems that it has a problem with this extension to something. I'm not sure about it. So these are only warnings. That would be great. No. Has a problem too. And the problem is it register this dot props dot app state have user. Yeah, it's a problem with this. With the we probably have to bind this. Is true? It works for this get from users. So why do you complain here? Let's see. The enter thing. It is able to use this dot props dot app state get from users with an email. Fine. Get from users, email string, name string. App users, return. User, let user type user or null. I like it. Get or create. Just try something. Register. Get or create. User. Should really work. Oh my God. Go away. Go away. No. Get or create users doesn't work. Is this a problem with the crypto thing? No. So I hear your solutions, guys. Cannot read property props of undefined. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Okay, the problem is that this here is not defined. And that is because we did not bind the OK action. Yeah. This dot OK action becomes this dot OK action dot bind this. So now it works. And come on. This .props.appstate.getOrCreateUser is not a function. Come on. This .props.appstate.getOrCreateUser is not a function. Do we need something like a bind here too? So why does it work for get from users? This .props.appstate. Somebody has assigned something to appstate, and thereby it got corrupted. Probably, yeah. So the theory is that in the enter page, we do this up set state and we provide a plain something here. And that might be a problem. So let's try something else here. I didn't experience these before. I'm sorry for that. New state dot current page becomes /register. I'm sorry, but I really need to fix this so that you can do your homework. Dot our current email becomes email. And do we have anything else? Use state dot users becomes this dot props dot appstate dot users. There's a more elegant way to do this. I'll show you next week, but for now we try that one. And here we just hand over the new state. So hopefully this fixes our problem. Bob. Damn it. So I'm running out of ideas now. This .props.appstate.getOrCreateUser is not a function. Okay, just to verify, register this .props.appstate. Get from users. That one working? Get from users is not working either. So the users that is handed over here in app state is not the one that we need. Come on. Okay, I'll fix this at home and have to dig deeper to this. If anybody is able to fix it by doing this homework, it would be great. So for now, the homework is just forget about this line of code and just do this console.log, and then I'm fine with it. And I promise to prepare it better next week and to dig into what the real problem here is. Okay, I'm sorry for not getting this done. I will go home and cry into my arms all night, and I'm sorry for that. So I stop for now. The homework is, please restructure your application, have these separate enter component, the separate register component, and split this app state class within the model, and then we will actually go along and we'll try to solve this thing here. And I will probably have to do some other things in order to get this problem here fixed. I have an idea how to fix it, but this will need some more time and some more testing. So there will be, I will do a short break now. So first let me stop the recording.